SureDub.com here with UFC Bantamweight champion Ronda Rousey getting ready to take on Alexis Davis. UFC 175 co-main event this time in Las Vegas. It's almost fight time. Tell us how preparations have gone and what you're expecting from this fight.
Well, camp has gone suspiciously smooth, and I feel suspiciously fantastic to the point that I realize I've just been operating in total chaos for the last two camps, and this has really been my best camp since Sarah Kaufman. You know, when it comes to like distractions wise, and you know, I'm actually even better injuries wise than I was for Kaufman. I couldn't straighten my elbows for that fight. I dislocated both my elbows. So every fight there's usually something, but I feel really healthy, and I was totally rested. I wasn't starting camp overworked like I did with the Misha and McMahon fights, and yeah, I was actually talking to my coach, and I was like, "Do you think we're doing enough? Like, I feel like we're not doing enough." And he's like, "No, I write everything down. You've been doing more for this camp than you ever have before." Like, I only had one like day that he gave me off. I rest Sundays, but there was only one day that he gave me off, which is like, it's uncommon for a camper to be that little rest is needed because, I don't know, I just feel amazing.
Talk about your opponent a little bit. The one weird thing going in this fight, it doesn't seem like there's any animosity at all. It's something you maybe in the past have used to pump yourself up. I've seen it with the Misha fight especially. Is that something you take into account going in this fight? Alexis Davis is really nothing to be mad at her about.
I don't know why people think that I do that all the time. It's just that when I do it, I'm the best at it, and so people remember it really well. I mean, name one other person that I've fought that I've had a lot of animosity with.
Maybe people you haven't fought yet.
Yeah, so we're talking about a fight that I'm going to have. So it's really never been necessary for me to be able to fight, to create some sort of drama with it. I mean, I don't have to, and I really feel like this camp is reminding me a lot of the Sarah Kaufman fight, a lot, and that is the fight that really got the UFC interest in women's MMA, because with Sarah Kaufman there was no, we weren't playing up a big looks angle or a big drama angle. We were just getting in there as, okay, these are the two best girls in the world right now, and let's see who's better. And that fight's viewership was 20% better than the first fight with me and Misha, and I really felt like that proved a lot more, and that's when the UFC went and brought us on, because they could tell, like, okay, this women's MMA thing isn't a flash in the pan, it wasn't a one-time thing, this is people that are really genuinely interested in, and I think this is another fight like that. Me and Alexis are the two best girls in the world, and we're going in there to compete, and people just want to see that.
Alexis is a heck of a fighter as well. Can you break down what her style looks like, what you're going to have to do to beat her?
Well, Alexis, she's one of the most experienced and definitely the most well-rounded fighter that I've ever come up against. She's predominantly Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, and I've always fought people that were either mostly grapplers or mostly strikers. And this is the first person that I fought that is really proficient at both, and she's the first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt that I've ever fought as well, and so it'd be interesting to see how the judo ground style really measures up against the Jiu-Jitsu style, and see if I'm just as effective against her as I am anybody else. And striking wise, she proved that she can go through some real battles, and she really keeps the same pace the entire time, and she can really take a hit, and so she's I think a terrible style matchup for almost anybody.
Even for yourself?
You know what? It doesn't matter what the matchups are. When I came up doing judo, where that you had to be in pools and there were draws, and some styles you weren't so well matched for, and some you weren't. But my mom would always tell me, it was like, you have to be the bad draw. Especially because you're the American, they're always going to give you the worst draw. And it was always the tournaments that I had the worst draw possible that I fought above myself, and I was the best.
What do you think this fight's going to look like? What do you have to do? What specifically have you worked on for Alexis?
Well, I'm fighting her a lot differently than I would fight someone like Sarah McMahon, who's predominantly a wrestler. So if they're looking at the footage of me and Sarah, to try and expect how I'm going to come out, it's going to be a very poor predictor, because Sarah, with her style, it made a lot more sense to come in at a tilt and focus on things